This is the forum for the County Republican Party Chair, and both of the candidates who are on the ballot are here. And as you settle in, I'm going to just remind those, in case some of you were not here at the very beginning for our previous forum, each candidate will have 2 minutes with an opening comment, followed by a period of questions that have come from the audience as submitted in the foyer. If you have a question, have not already turned it in, you can feel free to step out, submit your question out in the foyer. And then after the question and answers, they'll have 2 minutes of a closing statement, and that will complete the forum. And we do have a third forum tonight, so don't get weak-willed. And now I'm going to hand the microphone over to Justice J. Wright.
Candidates, welcome to the forum. And we will start with Mr. Baker. We're in alphabetical order. If you want to go ahead and no, we're doing alphabetical to start. And introduce yourself, and you've got 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Well, thank you very much. I'm really glad to see y'all out here today. It's great to be here, actually. I don't know if a lot of y'all are aware or not, but I was chairman of this organization for 4 years a while back, and my dad was chairman before me. I used to actually lead these forums for several years, and it feels good to see some familiar faces. And it's good to see some new faces, too. I'm Scott Baker. I'm running for county chair. It's the head of the Republican Party. It's the only elected countywide party official position. In case you're not aware, a lot of folks don't actually know what the county chair does, and they don't know what precinct chairs do either. It's one of my missions is to help educate people. I've been in the party for 20 years. I've been active. I am a veteran. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican, lifelong Republican. I actually helped my father when he was a precinct chair in Clear Lake when I was growing up. So I've been involved with Republican politics my whole life. I know a lot about how it works, what it takes, and what to do with the job. Part of it is data. I do AV engineering for a living. I design this stuff, screens, speakers, all that technology back there. I help people use it, help people communicate. I also do videos. A lot of people have seen my videos, making informational videos about what's going on in the party and why I think I'm the best candidate to take us forward. One of the things is as an engineer, I deal a lot with data and math, right? And that's an important part of this job is to be able to analyze the data we have coming in, to look at the information that's coming in. But the other part is I'm also an elder and worship leader at my church. My wife and I, my beautiful wife is back there. We have 6 kids together. And I'm a Christian, and I have preached and I have taught the Word of God. I fundamentally believe it in my heart. I love Jesus. And behind every one of those data points that we look at is a person, is a voter. And we must communicate with the voters. We have to be clear. We have to speak about who we are. Scott Baker, thank you.
And Ms. Withrow, you've got 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I am Gwen Withrow, and I am your current county chairman. I took over just less than 2 years ago, and the party was in disarray. And I will say that I have done a really good job of bringing it together and putting it right on the right path. I credit myself for that because when I was working, when I got paid for what I'm doing, I was the chief financial officer at a 2-year school, which meant that I had employees reporting to me and had to run all of the administrative duties of the college. I am also a CPA, so I have a lot of experience with financial data. And the party was pretty much broke. So in the past 2 years, well, it's not even 2 years yet, I have been able to fundraise enough that I have out-fundraised what the party raised for the past 6 years previous to me. I brought the party together where they're meeting together. I have a new office that the party is using to accomplish its duties. And we brought the gala back. This was something, actually, it's surprising, but we did this in response to what the Republican women asked us to do. So I really would appreciate your support in allowing me to be back for the next 2 years so that we can accomplish what we need to accomplish to make sure that we win those midterms that are coming up. Thank you.
All right. So first question, it's for both candidates, but we'll start with Mr. Baker. How would you describe the role of the county chair?
Well, fundamentally, the role of the county chair, we actually have 3 duties, right? The first one is to run the elections. We run the primary election especially. We actually have a special account that we're responsible for to help pay for that, and it's funded by the state of Texas and the RPT. We run the elections. We staff the elections. We have to make sure that all of the election locations are fully staffed. We work closely with Election Central to do that. Number 2 is we have to grow the party. We have to stay, everybody knows that we're growing like crazy. We have to grow the party. It's something that we're not doing right now. We're actually falling behind right now in the last 2 years. Our numbers aren't good. We are going down. We're going in the wrong direction. We have to grow the party to stay ahead. Number 3, we have to represent the voters. The Republican voters are the party. Not the CEC, not the precinct chairs, not the county chair, the Republican voters. In fact, the Texas Election Code says that the Republican voters are the party. I have a fundamental disagreement with my opponent here because she thinks that the CEC is the party. I believe differently. I want to keep, that's the reason all my signs say let the voters decide, because I'm not trying to take control of the party into a room in a back room. I want to keep it in the hands of the Republican voters, and I will do that.
Ms. Withrow, how would you describe the role of the county chair?
Well, I agree with a few things that Mr. Baker did say, in that it is the county chairman's job to run the elections, to make sure that they are properly manned, and especially the primary, which is the function of the party chairman solely. But I kind of disagree with some of the things when he said that we were using a back room. There is no back room. I fully believe in the voters of Texas, and I have worked hard to represent those voters. That is why we need the party together and working to promote the votes. Now, one other thing that Scott did forget that the party chairman does is he or she is responsible to put the people on the ballot. Every one of the candidates that you will see on your primary ballot were put there by myself. They all have to be, I have to sign off on their application, review their application, and make sure that they meet the qualifications and that the ballot is properly put together, which I've been doing the last few weeks as I've been doing all these forums. So that is why in very short while you will have a ballot that you can look over to see who are the candidates on your ballot. So it is very important that each one of you vet these candidates. It's not my job to pick who is the candidate that you vote for, but it is my job to make sure that they're out there in front of you so that you can make a wise decision, because we want to beat the Democrats in November. We want the best candidates.
And if you want to hold that microphone, I'm going to go ahead and give you the start on the next question. Kind of a two-part question. Can you explain what the County Executive Committee is? And do you believe that the majority vote of the County Executive Committee should be the final say in decisions made by the county party?
Yes, I do. That is one reason I ran to a year and a half ago, is because we were having a problem in that the party chairman thought that his decisions were final. I do not believe that. I believe that the precinct chairs, who are the closest elected officials to each and every one of you, and they come together in the county executive meeting and they make motions and they debate and then they vote. And those votes are what comes out of the party, and those are the final votes. Now, the county executive, the chairman, has to do, there's a lot of administrative duties of running that meeting and running all of the other meetings that take place. For example, you will be coming up upon your preparation to go to the state convention, which is coming up right after the election. You'll have precinct conventions, you'll have your Senate district conventions, and all of those administrative duties fall upon the county chairman to put together so that you can come forward and we can pick our delegates to get to the county convention. So those are the duties that the chairman performs.
Very good. And Mr. Baker, can you explain what the County Executive Committee is? And do you believe that the majority vote of the County Executive Committee should be the final say in decisions made by the county party?
The CEC is the County Executive Committee. It is made up of the precinct chairs. The precinct chairs, right now we have 121 as of January 1. 121 precincts. When I started this, we had about 70, I believe. Been at it a while. And we're growing crazy fast. Each one of the precincts represents up to 5,000 voters. The county commissioner's court has to occasionally redistrict that and carve it up a little bit more and change it. That's why we have 121 now as of January 1. They are the representatives of the Republican voters in the party governance. We're like the governing board of the party in the county, but we are not the party. This is why I disagree with the statement that the CEC and the majority is the final say. No, the voters are the final say. It is our job to inform the voters, to make it clear, to let them know what's going on with our state representatives, with our ballot propositions, with our local county government. That's what I stand for. Not the CEC taking things and taking decisions in the back room, not trying to kick people off the ballot like my opponent did. She actually did. She'll say here that she did not kick anybody off the ballot. It's true, she did not kick anybody off the ballot. It's because I stopped her. I have the documents to prove it from their meeting minutes. You don't have to take my word for any of this. The facts are clear. They tried to kick the two candidates off the ballot. They tried to disenfranchise voters in Montgomery County under her leadership. That is a fact. It is undeniable fact. It is simple math that we are falling behind in elections. We must turn out the vote. We must communicate with the new voters in the county, and we must represent our voters, not disenfranchise them, not remove people from the ballot because we want our buddy to win. That's what's happening now. It's why I'm running. Thank you.
Okay, next question. We'll start with Mr. Baker. I believe that's who we're on. What strategies do you have to identify, register, and turn out Republican voters, especially in underperforming precincts?
Actually, I've been doing this for years in my own precinct. My goal is to defeat Democrats at the ballot. We absolutely have to stop the Democrats, and the Democrats have ground game. As we grow, as we become more densely populated, that gives the Democrats an edge. If you don't understand the demographics, I'd be happy to go into it another time with you. But that gives them, they have huge ground game advantage in densely populated areas. That means we have to have a rock solid ground game. And that can't just be about text campaigns. $190,000 we've blown through. We're losing our new voters. We're not getting them out. We actually lost 3,000 voters in November versus what we did in 2023. That means we're losing it. Her reliance is on, we're going to do text campaigns. I don't know about you, but I don't need another faceless text message to fill up my inbox. What we need is troops on the ground. One of the things I want to change is I want to stop having so many CEC meetings. We have monthly meetings to pass useless resolutions and pat ourselves on the back and talk about how great we do. I'm going to stop that. We're going to go back to quarterly meetings. If we actually have business, we'll call it a special call business meeting. That's thousands of man hours. If you think about it, 2-3 hour meetings monthly, plus steering committee meetings, plus committee meetings, literal thousands of man hours we're wasting time in meetings that we should be out in the community and shaking hands and saying, hi, I'm a Christian conservative Republican. Come vote with me. We should be out at events. We should be out doing voter drives. Dr. Wally did voter registration drives. We would staff, with the help of the Montgomery County Republican women groups, who are just absolute troops, would do voter registration drives and go out and shake people's hands and say, hi, are you new to the area? Are you registered to vote? Are you a Republican? Let me tell you about what we believe. We don't do that anymore. I want to bring it back, as well as our youth outreach. I love Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was not afraid to go talk to people. I'm not either, and we shouldn't be as a party.
Ms. Withrow, what strategies do you have to identify, register, and turn out Republican voters, especially in underperforming precincts?
Well, I ask each and every one of you to look at the Republican table that is out in the lobby, and beside it we have what we call the big red dot, which proves, if you look at those statistics, that we did have an extraordinary large turnout. Those of you who stood in line probably saw that. So we are turning out the votes, but that doesn't mean we are finished by any means. We actually have a committee that's called the Victory Committee, and it will kick in after the primary. It doesn't function before the primary except for fundraising. After the primary, it will kick in. And believe me, there will be a lot of activity making sure that we get those ballots out in November. That is very important to me. That's what I was very, very concerned about last time. I know we had Trump on the ballot and that drew people out, but it wasn't enough. I really, really, really wanted turnout last time, and we worked hard to get it. Now, he talks about those text messages, and we did buy some software, and we are going to use it to notify voters who have not gone to the polls, who usually vote. So that is the reason that we do that. So he doesn't like that, but it does work, and it has been proven to work. And everything that we did last time from the Victory Committee, I just could not be more proud of the work that was done on that committee and getting the votes out. We are doing that.
Very good. Now, if you can hold the mic, I think it's your turn to take the question first. What have you done to raise money for the party?
Well, as I've already described to you, I have raised more money in a year and a half than has been raised the past 6 years by any of my predecessors. So we are doing a really good job in that area. One of the reasons for that is because in the previous biennium, when it was fighting going on and the party was split, we could not get statewide candidates to come and work with the party. So since I took office and we have put the party together, we no longer have that problem. We have statewide candidates. We are working on many, many ideals to bring forward to you all of these candidates so that you can get to know them and you can get to meet them. And we have lots of ideals for fundraising so that we have the money for that Victory Committee that I was talking about. All that stuff that we do takes money. Now, I do agree with Scott believe it or not, I agree with him on something. It does take being out on the parking lots, shaking the hands with voters. And that's something I actually really enjoy doing. What I did in the last couple of elections here in Montgomery County is I just toured all the different locations to see what was going on in each of the early voting locations. So I would be there for just a few, I didn't stay all day, but I went to all of those locations and I would see what the people were doing there and helping them give out their push cards and everything. I just want to say one thing. Our worst performing precinct is Scott's.
Okay, Mr. Baker,
That's false.
the question is, what have you done to raise money for the party?
I've done a lot of things. I haven't spent as much time in the parking lot because I'm usually actually running the election at my booth. I've done that. I've actually run more elections than I can even count. I've got the stack of the documents you got to keep afterwards and all the paperwork and everything. But I've also participated in just so many fundraisers, so many events, so many activities. I'm not participating in the fundraising under Gwen Withrow. Because I'm not going to give money for it to be used to kick my candidate off the ballot or to use party resources against our candidates, which it's being used 100%. They've just voted a couple of months ago to deny support to 2 of our elected candidates. Again, I have the documents. They were not censured. The censures failed. I have the documents for that. I would be happy to show you all the documents. It's basic math. I'm pretty good at math. I do engineering. This is basic math. It's not hard. They were not censured. There should be no penalties attached to it. We should be letting the voters decide, not her in a back room or a bunch of people in a back room, not even 8,000 people up in Austin. The voters. You know, I'm not worried about all the statewide candidates that we can feed money from. I'm not worried about blowing through $190,000 to get worse results. I have the data right here. I can show you. We went down in turnout. That's bad. That's a problem. $190,000. More money than, congratulations on raising $190,000. But, you know, I'm a conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative especially. I think we should be wise and frugal with our money. I work in corporate world. If I went to my boss and said, hey man, I spent 6 times the funds of any of my predecessors and got worse results, my boss would say, might be time to look for a new job. That's what I'm here saying. Might be time to look for a new job. I think we need new leadership. We need new direction. We need to get the party out of putting their thumb on the scale in the primary election. And we need to support all of our Republican candidates in the general election.
Very good. Okay, I believe it's time to start with Mr. Baker. Do you believe Speaker Burrows represents Republican interests well?
The Speaker Burrows that was elected as the House Speaker by Republicans and Democrats, no Republican had the votes to win without Democrat votes. It's not a lie. It's true. No Republican had the votes. Both Cook and Burrows were courting Democrats. They don't like to tell you that. They just tried to censure Speaker Burrows. He represents Lubbock. Talk about disenfranchisement. He doesn't represent Montgomery County. He's the Speaker of the House. He was duly elected. He is endorsed by Donald Trump, Greg Abbott, and Dan Patrick. So are Will Metcalf and Cecil Bell Jr., the 2 people she tried to kick off the ballot. We had the most conservative legislative session in decades this last term. Could it be better? Sure. Could it be worse? Could be a lot worse. Speaker Burrows did the job. He delivered on the Republican legislative priorities. He's not perfect. I'm not looking for perfect. I'm looking for results, and we got results.
Thank you. Ms. Withrow, do you believe Speaker Burrows represents Republican interests well?
First of all, I have never tried to kick anybody off the ballot. So that is an untruth. So I will say this about Speaker Burrow. Oh, and that is incorrect that it took Democrat votes to do the Speaker vote. They could have elected a Republican. Now that is something, it's really not about Burrows. I really had no thoughts about Mr. Burrows, whether he was the perfect vote or the not perfect vote. It was about, I just don't believe that our House representatives should go down the hall and consolidate and collaborate with the Democrats. I just don't believe that. And if you watch what goes on at the national level in Congress, they don't do that. They have their group and they keep on negotiating. If you'll remember this last time, it took quite a while for them to finally come forward with who was going to be their speaker. But they did not run over to the Democrats and decide, well, and make them promises to give them extra money, give them chairmanships. They did not go over there and do that. And I was very much against that. It really did not matter to me who they chose. I just would have liked to have seen our representatives work together as Republicans and come up with their choice without making promises to the Democrats.
You want to hold that mic? You're up for the next question. Do you believe in closing the Republican primary so that Democrats cannot choose Republican candidates? Why or why not do you believe in closing the primary?
Well, it really doesn't matter what I believe on that. The delegates at the convention voted, and they want the primaries closed, and those are the Republicans. I have seen cases, one of which would be Phelan's race in Jefferson County, where in the runoff, he was able to go and get 1,000 Democrats that had not voted in the earlier part of the primary, and they were Democrats. And he went and got them and got himself reelected, which he would not have been able to do. I know in Austin, we've had a county chairman that was elected by Democrats, which was a disaster. It caused all kinds of problems. So there are problems with Democrats crossing over into our primary and meddling. They would be choosing the weakest of the candidates to go against the Democrats, or just the weakest. Like in Montgomery County, we usually don't even have Democrats on the ballot, but they would still be using, electing the weakest of all the candidates. So I don't like it when they do that, so I guess I am against it. But like I said, it's not my choice. The voters have decided on that, and they want it closed.
Mr. Baker, do you believe in closing the primaries, the Republican primaries, so that Democrats cannot choose Republican candidates? Why or why not?
The primaries are closed. The RPT agrees with me in their fact sheet that they sent out with their plan, which everyone here should read and think about. Because that's one of the things that I really hate about these ballot propositions and these little one-line things. They give you this simple, pithy statement. Oh, it's like, we're going to close the primaries. Okay, well, explain to me, because I went and did research. It's like, okay, what does that mean? What does it mean to close the primaries? How does that work? How does this logistically work? How much is it going to cost us? Anybody ask that question? Anybody think about that? Primary elections cost a lot of money, right? Databases cost a lot of money. Data and integration, reworking the entire registration system of the Republican Party of Texas and the election code, it costs a lot of money. It's going to take time. We have to advertise just to let our existing voter base, 2.3 million. Their plan is based on the state of Idaho. There are 1.8 million people in the state of Idaho. We have 2.3 million registered Republicans in the state of Texas. Their plan opens the door to cause absolute chaos for our Republican voters. I absolutely don't want Democrats crossing over. But even the RPT says we do have a closed primary with a same-day registration process, which means that if you vote in one primary, you can't vote in another party's primary. It's closed by definition. If we want to change that registration process, I'm certainly open to that. We could do that pretty simply with the Secretary of State and modifying the database there, and it would cost us a heck of a lot less money. But the plan that the Republican Party of Texas has put forth actually removes a lot of the guardrails on the election law and actually opens up the door for innocent Republicans. Some people might be sitting in this room to go and vote saying, of course I'm a Republican. I've always voted Republican. They just become a felon. Do you realize that? Like Steve Toth, I actually read the plan and read the bill before I sign off on it. I appreciate that about him. It's a good thing. You guys should read the plan and tell me if you disagree with it. And what's the difference if a Democrat lies the same day or 4 weeks before, by the way?
Thank you very much, Mr. Baker, Ms. Withrow. That's all the time we have, and we will have a 10-minute intermission. Closing statements. I'm sorry. You want Gwen to go first? That's fine. Ms. Withrow, then.
Well, I am here and I am asking for your vote because I really want to continue 2 more years. I probably will not be here after that. I do not want to be, this is not my lifelong mission to be the county chairman, which is an unpaid position for any of you who don't know that, with a lot of work. So, but I do think I need 2 more years to enact the things that I have been trying to enact and to get the party smoothed out. I'm hoping that we get some really good candidates next time that can run, and I will be stepping down to be a really retired person, which is really what I want to do. But I just want to say, please understand that the primary is a time when people are up here and they're making comments about each other and all of that. And that is not what's important. What is important is that you keep your integrity and that you follow God's will in your life, which I believe was to bring the party together for Montgomery County for me. So earlier they asked about that Bible verse, and I just wanted to say that mine was in Esther for such a time as this. That's why I believe I fumbled my way to Montgomery County and had the experience that I did to bring the party together and to enact the items that I did. And I would appreciate your support going forward.
Thank you. And Mr. Baker.
I think one of the Bible verses I love to live by is, who among you, when he goes to buy a house, does not count the cost? Part of this job is about counting the cost. Part of running for this seat is about counting the cost. I knew it would cost. I would be attacked. I would be called names. I would be accused of things I did not do or did not say. That has happened. But this is important. This party is important. A lot of good people have spent decades building this party. Before 2000, this was a Democrat county in a Democrat state. And the way we changed it, the way we turned it around, was by Republicans going out and with open hands saying, come vote with us. We agree on most things. The Republican Party is a coalition of voters. We don't need purity tests. We don't need people going around calling about who's the real Republican, throwing the word rhino out like it's candy or something. Ronald Reagan, who was president when I was a kid, and I love that man, the great communicator, he said, if you're with me 80% of the time, we should be friends. We agree on so much. in the Republican Party. We cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good. We have to work on things together. There are so many critical issues we face, from local spending to state spending to federal spending, from our social issues. I want to end the practice of abortion once and for all. I'm anti-abortion. I'm not pro-life. I'm anti-abortion. I think murdering children is wrong. I want to end it. That's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time to get there. It's not going to happen with some Hail Mary bill. It's not going to come with just some Supreme Court decision. It's going to come from changing hearts and minds like we did for the last 40 years. Charlie Kirk understood changing hearts and minds. We absolutely have to reach our young children. You have 30 seconds on that. Is that wrong? Okay.
He didn't change.
We have to win hearts and minds. We have a whole generation of young folks that we have to reach out and let them know what it means to be Christ followers, what it means to be Republicans, and what it means to be Americans. I'm Scott Baker. I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
And now, Mr. Baker and Ms. Withrow, thank you all very much for coming. And we will have a 10-minute intermission, I'm told. No recess.